Part 1, Katie Holmes, Tom Cruise. My mom lost my triangle in the fucking move, so here we go, like, that kind of works. Yeah. Tom Cruise, July 3rd, 1962. He's a Cancer sun, Leo moon, rising, my nightmare, because we have the same sun and moon. Katie Holmes, December 18th, 1978. She always seems so, but her placements, okay. Katie Holmes has described herself as perpetually lonely, which makes me want to, that was way too hard. And she was like very much like a good girl persona in Hollywood. Kevin Williamson, who is Dawson Creek's creator, Dawson Creek, the show. I hate that I have to explain that. It's been 84 years. Okay, he said this about Katie. Katie's eyes were stained with loneliness. Okay. Vanity Fair wrote this about Katie Holmes. Like Princess Diana with Prince Charles, Katie Holmes had a mad schoolgirl crush on the older Tom Cruise, and to many close observers, like Diana, she had a third person in her marriage. That third person was also Camilla. I'm just kidding. No, it was the Church of Scientology, allegedly. Allegedly. This is for entertainment purposes. So, the media often described her as passive and demure. Katie Holmes is from Toledo, Ohio. When she was 16, her teacher told her, you should enter this modeling competition, which is my dream. I would look at teachers like this, and they'd be like, where's your homework? And I'm like, this is not my dream. And she entered IMTA. They hold it down in Midtown. But she did singing and dancing in this competition. She did a monologue from To Kill a Mockingbird, and she won a lot of awards. But she said that she didn't want to go into modeling because it wasn't challenging enough for her, and she wanted to explore acting. She moved to LA, she started acting, she got like one movie, Ice Storm, and then, by the guy who, isn't it the guy that did Brokeback Mountain? Didn't he direct that? What's his name? But her breakout role was in Dawson's Creek as Joey, who was, I think, the virgin. Wow. She was like the innocent girl on the show, you know what I mean? Everybody was just, and she was not. When she was 26, she was engaged to Chris Klein, who you probably know from American Pie. Yeah. So it's October 2004, and she does an interview with 17 magazine, and this is what she says. Manifestation. I think every little girl dreams about her wedding. I used to think I was going to marry Tom Cruise. Katie. And she told the magazine that she had a poster of Tom Cruise in her room. I had a poster of Justin Timberlake. Stay away from me, sir. Stay away. Part 2, Katie Holmes, Tom Cruise. So Katie got her start, her big break in in Dawson's Creek. And there's this famous incident on set, right? Where she is in like the makeup room, you know what I mean? Like the makeup trailer with a bunch of people. And she's going on and on about how much she loves Tom Cruise. And she was talking about how much she loves Jerry Maguire. I mean, who doesn't? Show me the money, you complete me, like, please. And she didn't realize that the guest for that episode that they were filming that day was Mimi Rogers. That if you watched my Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman series before this, you know that Mimi Rogers is Tom Cruise's first wife. And she went on and on and on about Scientology and Mimi and Nicole Kidman and the divorce and all of it. Which must have been great for the energy on set. People on Dawson's Creek was like, Katie Holmes knew everything about Tom Cruise. Be careful what you wish for. Well, no, we'll get into it. But like I said, Katie and Chris Klein were engaged. They started dating when they were 20, 21, and they got engaged when she was 26. People magazine called Chris Klein and Katie Holmes Hollywood's prom king and queen. They were like, golden retrievers. That's what I call this type of person, a golden retriever. What kind of dog breed am I? A Dachshund, I knew it. Recap, Tom Cruise is with Nicole, right? And then right after, he jumps into a relationship with Penelope Cruz, easily hottest woman alive, that's just me. And who's my man celeb crush? Javier Bardem. Imagine my eyes when I saw that they were together. It wasn't a bad day, but it wasn't a good day. According to Vanity Fair, between Penelope Cruz and Katie Holmes, the Church of Scientology, not my voice trembling, the Church of Scientology was allegedly trying to find a partner for Tom Cruise that would devote themselves to the church and not distract him from all of his hard work. Doesn't Scientology allegedly also believe that we come from like an alien, like Xanadu? Or is that just the movie? Okay. Listen to this. According to Amy Scobie, the former director of Scientology's Celebrity Centers. What church has a celebrity center? Okay. By the fall of 2004, they say dozens of organizations' members had been run through the video process and considered unsuitable. Who? Well-known actresses, including Sofia Vergara and Scarlett Johansson, to accept his devotion to Scientology. In 2005, after the breakup with Penelope, Tom Cruise calls Katie Holmes' manager and asks to meet her. Why doesn't anybody do that? I'll give you the info. You can talk to Part 3, Tom Cruise, Katie Holmes. So Katie Holmes' manager tells Katie, hey, Tom Cruise called and wants to meet you. Casual. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? I'd be like, what? Because he wants to offer you a role in Mission Impossible 2. Just 1 month prior, Katie Holmes had called off her engagement to Chris Klein, and she was living in New York and flew over to LA. At this time, she's 26, he's 43. I can't tell if that's creepy. I don't think so. I think I'm just like traumatized. You know what I mean? By like the age differences. I'm just like traumatized. I don't think that's that creepy, right? Am I wrong? Sound off in the comments. Actually don't. But she told people, you know, like, I'm just so childlike in comparison to Tom Cruise. Like, he rides motorcycles, he flies planes, he jumps out of planes, he jumps out of helicopters, he jumps off bridges, he, you know, flies off the handle. What? Who said that? I also, like, I don't understand the curiosity with jumping out of a plane. I know it's gonna happen. I will fall. You know what I mean? I just don't. But no judgment. I'm high off life. You know what I mean? And using all my limbs. Like, she was such an American sweetheart at the time. Like, she was seen so, like, virginal that MSNBC actually reported that she was a virgin, which is crazy. Can you imagine if today we turned on the news? Who even does that anymore? Can you imagine us scrolling through TikTok and at MSNBC is like, you know, who's somebody famous? I'll work in pop culture. Who's somebody famous? Olivia Rodrigo is a virgin. We'd be like, did you talk to her guy now? I don't understand. So their first date was in LA the same month, and he took her on a high-speed motorcycle ride. This is the only time in my life where I doubt astrology. How? I would literally say, if we do this, my mother will stab you. Allegedly, TikTok. Please keep this up. Anyway, I feel like that motorcycle ride was like very symbolic of their relationship. You know what I mean? I'm talking first red flag. I'm just saying. I don't need to know how cool you are because you drive a motorcycle. I think going to Color Me Mine, painting ceramics, putting it in the kiln is pretty rock and roll. That's just me. They made their first public appearance as a couple in Rome. Both of them were promoting major films at the time. He was in War of the Worlds. Good fucking movie. That's a good movie. Damn. It's a good fucking movie. I salute you, Dakota Fanning. Performance of a lifetime. And then she was in Batman Begins. Batman's Here. Batman Returns. BRB Batman. Batman and Robin. Batmobile Unlimited. Batman. But because of this, everyone, my biggest freaking pet peeve, not biggest, but PR, this is PR. Ugh. Part 4. If I ever take a while, just know it's because I'm rewatching the videos to make sure I'm not extremely embarrassing, just like the normal kind of embarrassing that I'm usually giving you. I just want to say whenever I'm like seeing a new couple arise and one, especially like when the girl is not as famous as this, like, I don't even know how to explain Tom Cruise's fame at this point because it was like beyond fame. I always tell people when I was growing up, there were like 10 fucking famous people and one of them was Tom Cruise and the other was Chris Crocker, who is now the beautiful Kara Cunningham. We love you. We love you, Kara. You're so stunning. Anyway, so whenever I see this like explosion, a different kind of attention, a different kind of perception, I'm like, this looks very intense. May 3rd, 2005. Tom Cruise is supposed to go to Oprah. He does go to Oprah, actually, to promote War of the Worlds. And he does not promote War of the Worlds. It's when he does the infamous jumping on the couch. I just want to say, looking back, I'm going to show you the clip, but looking back, I do not think it was what we wanted it to be. My ear is itchy. I do not know I do know that we should not have been that insane about it. I just think that Tom Cruise at that point was so serious. And we saw him like a giddy schoolboy. And when you Google this, the titles of the videos say, Tom Cruise loses his mind. I'm going to show it to you. I do not think he lost his fucking mind. I think he was excited and he was trying to show that side to the world, and it exploded to implode on him. Does that mean that I like him? Allegedly. It's very scary. Okay, let's watch this together.
Thanks for coming to my Legends Ball with Katie. Was that the best fun? Was that? Yes. What has happened to you?
Hey. That's how I feel about it. Excuse me.
Really? Something happened to you. Something happened to you. I'm in love.
With a stripper.
They're
T-Pain.
literally on the edge of their seats. They're like this. No, I know what he's doing. He's processing. He's trying to figure out what he is going to tell, what he isn't going to tell. I've never seen you like that. I know. We've never seen you behave this way before. I know. Have you ever felt this way before?
Oh my God. He's limber, huh? Good knees. Okay. All right. A little icky. I do see it now. It's a little ick. Part 5. Oh, it's still low. Hey there. Part 5, Katie Holmes and Tom Cruise. This is usually when I start to lose people. So for the 4 people that are going to watch, you're beautiful, stunning. I love you. Call me Cat. Kitty Cat. Where's that from? Okay, so everybody was obsessed with that moment on Oprah when he jumped on the couch. The way that we talked about it, looking back, 2005, I was 15. You would think that he was jumping on that couch, his head grazing the ceiling, knees to chest. Like we kind of blew it up. But I think it's because also back then, we didn't have a lot of access to personal lives. We just had paparazzi and more feral, panting, drooling animals for celebrity culture at the time, especially because we still had things like huge movie stars. Now we have Jessica Chastain. I know that you said it. I said it too. Yes. So because of this moment, everyone was like, okay, it's cemented. He's with Katie Holmes. And in response, what did we do? Because we're what? Feral, panting, feral animals. We, not me, I wasn't involved, but people created freekatie.net. I have it up here. I really hope you guys would have kept that up. I would have really enjoyed that. The website proclaimed itself to be dedicated to the movement of liberating Katie, a young gifted actress held captive by the forces we may never understand. Even one summer of captivity is too long for one so bright. They were together for like 4 or 5 years before he proposed. Just kidding. They were together for 8 Saturdays. 2 months. He proposes in Paris on top of the Eiffel Tower. I get it. Dick Van Dyke from Mary Poppins, covered in ash, could get on one knee on top of the Eiffel Tower and I'd be like, please, Mary Poppins. Tefi, stay on topic. Get fucked. I always compare people who run these huge companies, these huge conglomerate companies, as the bankers in Mary Poppins. You know what I'm talking about? Give it a Google. So they announced their engagement on June 6, 2005. And he was jumping on the couch May 3rd. So can we imagine being Chris Klein? Okay. Here's the engagement ring. Let's be real. It is stunning. It's gorgeous. It is a 5-carat diamond ring, yellow diamond ring, valued at about 1.5 milli. Yeah, that's cool. 5 days after their engagement, they go to the premiere of the Batman movie that I loved, obviously. And she announces that she is leaving Catholicism, sad to see you go, and converting to Scientology, allegedly. Allegedly Scientology, theology of the sciences. Part 6, hello. Part 6, Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise, Katie Holmes. So she tells the world, I'm converting to Scientology, and she tells W Magazine this. This is a quote for W. You know, it's really exciting. I just started auditing, and I'm taking some courses, and I really like it. I feel like it's really helping. If you're thinking, oh my, Tefi, what's auditing? I gave it a Google. In Dianetics and Scientology, I'm not going to click the wiki link for Dianetics. We have to say fuckist. Auditing is a sequence of actions whereby the auditor, un tipo en uniforme de marina falso, let's just say it. It's a dude in a fucking Navy uniform because they're obsessed with like the Navy, whatever. Takes an individual through times in their current or past lives, okay, with the purpose of ridding the individual of negative influences from past events or behaviors. According to practitioners, being audited as known as a pre-clear or PC. And she said it was really helping. And this is my official statement that nobody asked me for. Ayudando con qué? Con qué? En qué mundo? If you need somebody to get unsolicited advice from, ask me. I'll go to Party City, USA right now. Put on my little, please, allegedly. I'm going to be my mom. Ayudando con qué? Con qué? Por favor. Ayudando con el delirio. Okay. So if you've been watching my series for a bit, you know that I have my girl Olive who helps me with my research. She mainstreams like chronological order. She just makes sure that I don't sound a fucking mess, right? And I do it irregardlessly. So she wrote this because she's like, hey, we should talk a little bit about Scientology so that people who are watching this have more clarity. And she wrote this in asterisk, a little star. It is important that you use language like allegedly if you're giving your opinion on something like Scientology, because the Church of Scientology is notorious for coming at people and claiming libel allegedly. And for entertainment purposes only did she write that. So, the history of Scientology. Okay. Scientology was founded in the 1950s by centers around the idea that each human has a reactive mind that responds to life's traumas, clouding the analytic mind and keeping us from experiencing reality. Okay. While this may make sense to anybody who would join a cult, I would fall for this shit immediately. Are you kidding me? Betterment? Put that in a pipe. I'd smoke it. There's a very controlling aspect to it. Members of the religion submit to a process called auditing to find the sources of trauma. People who have left the church say allegedly that when members allegedly want to leave the church, they allegedly threaten blackmail against the person using your trauma against you. Think of it as when you send a boyfriend a nude and then you break up with him. I just want you to think about that. Okay. Part 7, Tom Cruise, Katie Holmes. So we're talking some alleged information about Scientology, and it's also alleged, if you didn't catch the last series with Tom and Nicole, Scientology really didn't like Nicole Kidman because Nicole Kidman was not supportive about Scientology and not really, doing the auditing and the piecing and the whatever, allegedly, and then successfully broke Tom and Scientology apart, and then he reunited with Scientology, and they ended up getting divorced, and so Scientology definitely had a lot of influence, allegedly, on Mr. Tom Cruise, and this makes sense as to why he was attracted to this belief system when it comes to control. Tom Cruise loves control. I don't know if we talked about it before. I'm sure I brought it up. That if you've seen American Psycho, I always want to say Jason Bateman. Christian Bale created this character, Patrick Bateman, off Tom Cruise, allegedly. Can you imagine Jason Bateman, his silly, goofy butt doing American Psycho? Please. So when it comes to control, why did Tom Cruise really love Scientology? Well, growing up, he changed schools 15 times in 12 years, and this made it really difficult for him, especially not only the social aspect of that, but also he had dyslexia. So starting over, gaining people's trust, undoubtedly some bullying, some questions, definitely some shame. People still don't talk about dyslexia today. One of my best friends has dyslexia, and she often talks about when we were in school, how teachers would make fun of her. And that really fucking pisses me off. But Tom Cruise also had a very, very strained relationship with his father. So he felt like he couldn't really entrust his father with like protecting him or coming to him and, you know, doing father stuff. 2 months after his father passed away in 1984, Tom Cruise joined the Church of Scientology, allegedly. His best friend in the world is the head of Scientology. Do me a favor, pause and Google head of Scientology wife. Allegedly, I'm just saying. The head of Scientology is also considered like a god in Scientology, like a deity. It's like when somebody gives themselves a nickname. Have you ever met somebody and they're like, hey, my name's William, but everybody calls me Tutu. And you're like, why? And they're like, well, I just really like that name, so I've been telling people to call me that. Imagine if I was like, hey guys, like my name's Tefi, I'm a deity, so. Why? Oh, just like, okay. But yes, it's obvious that Tom Cruise may respond very well to stability and control because he never had that in his life. You want to hear about control issues? You want to hear about somebody who has control issues? He told Barbara Walters in an interview that he purchased his very own personal sonogram machine. I gave it a Google. Those are not cheapy weepy, okay? Nio que barato, no. It is like 150 to 200K, okay? So, and he told Barbara so he could personally check on the development of his baby. And I think he thought that people were going to be like, oh my God, a dedicated father, like, oh my God, a papa. No. Obstetricians and medical professionals around the world came out and was like, please do not do that. That should only be performed by medical professionals because you can create prolonged issues in the tissue. It's just for doctors, okay? But I also want to say this. I've never been pregnant that long. Healthcare, whatever. I cannot imagine waddling around with the weight of a human in my body and seeing my husband come at me with the clear liquid and that weird thing being like, I want to check the development of the baby, lie down. I want you to check out of this crazy town hotel that you're currently staying at, okay? Because there's no vacancy here for your loony toonery. But also in Scientology, I don't know if anybody's seen Pretty Baby with Brooke Shields. It's on Hulu, I believe, where he came out after she was so brave. I think people don't realize how far we have come in pop culture. We have a long way to go. We do. We're not perfect here, okay? We do need pop culture Lorax somewhere. But for Brooke Shields to come out and talk about her postpartum depression, when I was 15, I was around mainly women my whole life. I'd never heard the words postpartum depression or depression. I heard depression from movies from people who were Baker acted or 5150 or like whatever. It was like such extreme cases, you know what I mean? And for her to talk about her postpartum depression, and Tom Cruise, 2005, when she started dating him, and she still married him and had his baby, he comes out and says that postpartum depression is basically made up in an imbalance of like vitamins and that psychiatry is a farce, is crazy. You can have your issues with big pharma, fine, but to talk to a woman what it's like to have a baby and feel afterwards is insane to me. Once again, loony toonery. In their birth statement, they released the baby's name, which we now know is Suri Cruise, and apparently it means princess in Hebrew and red rose in Persian. Beautiful. But the internet had a field day because apparently it means different things in different languages. It's like a French verb for sour. It's horse mackerel in Italian. It means pickpocket in Japanese. So obviously people are like, I think Suri is beautiful, personally. Who doesn't love horse mackerel? I don't even know what the fuck that is. Part 9, Tom Cruise, Katie Holmes. Let's get into the wedding. I just want to remind everybody that Suri Cruise is Tom Cruise's third child, first biological child. At this time, he had 2 other children with Nicole Kidman that were 10 and 12. When I tell you that this wedding was the wedding of the century, if you were a pop culture connoisseur, avoiding earth-based science like it was the plague at Coral Gables Senior High, you were obsessed with this wedding, okay? I will never forget watching paparazzi light up the place. I thought all the lights were on. It was paparazzi outside of this castle. They got married in an Italian castle. I'm gonna butcher the name, okay? Odescalchi Castle, overlooking Lake Bracciano, outside Roma, in front of more than 150 guests, okay? And we're talking J-Lo. I was gonna say, I will never forget Eva Longoria leaving with Tony Parker because I loved them. God damn it, Tony. God damn it. We were all rooting for you. Brooke Shields was invited and she went. God, you're better than me, Brooke. God, you're better than me. Ugh. Victoria Beckham, David Beckham. That sweater is gorge. Jenny McCarthy and Jim Carrey went. Do you remember when they were together? And then she has a child who has autism and she's a little anti-vaxxy. She says it's because of vaccinations. We'll get into that another time. But then Jim Carrey and her broke up and she went on a radio show and she said the most heartbreaking part was how, I think her son's name is Evan, I think, was so attached to Jim Carrey, and after they broke up, he never called, I think, Evan again. That breaks my heart. Anyway, they went to the wedding. They were serenaded by Andrea Bocelli. I'll show you a clip right now. Ave Maria. I do this shit like I'm not gonna post it. The head of Scientology, allegedly, did not officiate the wedding, but he was Tom Cruise's best man. Did your wife go? Allegedly? David? The two were together. They were married for 5.5 years, and they fucking went everywhere together. I feel like we all know that couple. I think I do, but I love them. But whenever one shows up, I'm like, where's my baby? Where's the other baby? You know what I mean? But they went everywhere together. Premieres. Home. No, they went to like events. Up until their divorce, spoiler, they were publicly gushing about each other in a way where, Oscar, do you remember Katie Holmes' sexy dance? Do you know what I'm talking about? Please tell me you. Part 10, I think. This is the next part to Katie Holmes, okay, and Tom Cruise. And I mentioned to you that she did a sexy dance, and I have to show it to you. I have to. Okay, I'm life size now. Okay, great, it's rolling. It's rolling. So Katie Holmes at a benefit gala serenades, dancing and singing live Tom Cruise to Whatever Lola Wants. It's one of my favorite pieces of pop culture history, and it's relatively unknown. I'm so happy to give you this gift. There's a part where she throws his head down and casi le desnuca el tipo. Like she almost like look. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Oh, let me start it from the top. Oh, I hit myself in the boob. Jesus. Okay. She's right there. Da. Oh my God, stop it. We love you, Katie. I'm sorry. No. We love Katie Holmes. She thought she was doing something sweet. It was great. It looks like they practiced. It was furious. It was Batmobile Unlimited furiosity. The way that she shoved him. So in 2012, she files for divorce. She was giving me like boom, from Making the Band. You know what I'm talking about? She was sharp with it. Okay. Any Hooserinis. So she files for divorce. Okay. May 2012. Okay. And Tom does an interview with Playboy. Let me raise up the, what's up, girl? He says, right before, he says this: I'm just happy. I have been since the moment I met her. What we have is very special. And then apparently he's blindsided with this filing. Aren't they always? Whatever Lola wants. Part 11. Tom Cruise and Katie Holmes. Whatever Lola wants. So Katie Holmes files for divorce June 2012. She's 33. He's like 50, I think. According to Cruise himself, he says he did not expect Holmes' summer 2012 divorce filing, and Katie's dad, who is a divorce lawyer, let's fucking go. You know who else is a divorce lawyer? Wedding Crashers. You shut your mouth when you're talking to me. Okay. He negotiated a pre-nuptial agreement for his youngest daughter that apparently was so long that it filled 5 banker's boxes. If you don't know what a banker's box is, it's in the movies when somebody gets fired and they carry all their stuff when they're walking out of the building with like that one plant. You know what I mean? Because of that prenuptial agreement, when Katie Holmes announced that she was divorcing Tom Cruise, the whole ordeal took 11 days. I'm going to read you a quote. As Tomcat, that is what their nickname was. I don't know if I told you that. Okay. As Tomcat, with a K, flooded the tabloids in 2005, Mark Headley, who had started working for Life and Style Weekly as a Scientology expert, allegedly, heard that the editors had a source who said that Martin Holmes, a Catholic and a divorce lawyer in Toledo, Ohio, wanted to know how his daughter could escape Scientology's clutches. Headley's advice was to speak out publicly against Scientology and be labeled as a suppressive person. A suppressive person is basically enemy of the state. Cut off. You cannot have any communication with anybody that speaks out against the Church of Scientology, if you remember, right? Okay. I mean, or not. I guess I'm an SP, allegedly. So that his daughter would have to choose between him and Cruise. Then Katie became pregnant, Headley says, and I was told, forget it. He'll write a prenup and Katie will be taken care of. According to Jared Shapiro, Life and Style Weekly's editorial director who worked with Headley, to say we were talking to a family member would be accurate, though he would not name that member. I don't think the wool was ever pulled over the father's eye in that situation. When Headley published the book Blown for Good, Behind the Iron Curtain of Scientology, after his split from the organization in 2010, he sent a copy to Holmes at his law firm. Marty Rathbun, whose blog is closely followed by disaffected Scientologists, adds that he personally did not reach out to Martin Holmes, but that others did to warn him. He says, of everything out there, blogs included, he was aware. It is my belief that he knows what the score is. Scientologists believe that divorce should be handled inside the church. Members are not supposed to sue one another. Oh, okay. Part 12, Tom Cruise, Katie Holmes, Tomcat, Just Jack, Will and Grace. Come on, someone, anyone? Okay. So, Scientologists believe that divorce should be handled inside the church. Get fucked. Members are not supposed to sue one another. Suck my dick. The fact that Holmes allegedly, please do that. Allegedly, please. The fact that Holmes blindsided Cruise with the divorce and was able to keep primary custody of Suri and enroll her in a private school would be automatic grounds for disconnection if she were married to any other Scientologist, many hundreds of whom have suffered deeply for years because of mandated separation from their families. Okay? But by being able to stay connected to Suri and Katie, Cruise proves once again to be a privileged exception. Nonetheless, many Scientology mothers I spoke to warn that although Holmes has won a battle, she has not necessarily won the war. Quote, according to Scientology doctrine, says Samantha Domingo, who was formerly married to Placido Domingo Jr., okay, when they were both Scientologists, Katie has denied Suri her spiritual eternity in the church. There is no chance for her now. Why would Katie deny her daughter her spiritual freedom? How suppressive is that, she warns. Okay. If he loves his daughter, he will never give up on Scientology. Okay. You and Placido can... He will try to use every means available to help his child, and he does think he's helping his child, but he's also helping the church to control his life. Yes. Just as Princess Anna won the paparazzi over to her side by learning how to feed them the steady supply of photo ops, Holmes seems to be winning the media battle through frequent outings in New York with Suri in tow. Stars, just like us, right? in Us Weekly that I always say I thought it was US Weekly. I'm fine. Not to be outdone, Cruz has attracted photographers as a literal Disney World dad, showering Suri Cruz with toys and taking her by helicopter from New York to the Hamptons. Nah. I would have been like, okay, this is cool. I want to see mom. And after that to the Magic Kingdom, costumed as the Little Mermaid. By being dropped publicly without warning, Cruz was made to feel the sting he had bestowed on a number of women. Ooh, Vanity Fair. Furthermore, though he is his church's putative savior, I don't know if I fucking said that right. He is punitive, what? He has probably brought more invasive attention to Scientology than anyone else. David Miscavige, what? Could not be pleased. Meanwhile, the hunt for the next Mrs. Cruz may already be on. Batter up, bitch. When paparazzi asked him if Katie Holmes left him in part to protect Suri Cruz, Cruz was insulted and said, "There's no need to protect my daughter from my religion." But when prodded again, specifically as to whether Katie had mentioned that she was leaving, part 13, Tom Cruise, Katie Holmes. Okay. So basically, paparazzi, whatever, is asking him, I don't need to protect my daughter from my religion. Okay. But when prodded again, specifically as to whether Katie had mentioned that she was leaving in an effort to protect Suri from Scientology, Cruz responded a little reactively. Did she say that? That's one of the assertions. Yes. Janice Min at the time is the editorial director for The Hollywood Reporter. And she says this. The whole narrative on Katie Holmes was she's been brainwashed and lobotomized. She's a zombie for Scientology. That's what made this whole saga breathtaking. Forget the princess in Brave. This is the heroine of the mode. When did Brave come out? What? This is those moments in pop culture where I'm just like, what? Like, you know how like Martin Luther King is the same age as Anne Frank? Like one of those things where it's like, I'm not comparing either of them to Katie and Tom. Okay, so she went about the divorce custody battle the opposite way that Nicole Kidman did. Katie Holmes went on a completely different route. So Nicole Kidman said, my kids wanted to stay with Tom Cruise and I respected their decision, even though that decision, their reasoning has never been expressed. We've never known, right? Both of those kids, I believe, are still involved with the Church of Scientology. And one of them got married, maybe Isabella, was it? And Nicole wasn't present for that wedding, whatever. So she blindsided Tom Cruise with the divorce so that she could lawyer up quickly and immediately begin fighting for sole custody. A source told InStyle, we see you, Mr. Holmes, we see you, that if you used to watch the Tefi show on YouTube, you know that whenever I say a source, I think it's Kris Jenner, but this time. Okay, a source told InStyle that his 2012 divorce settlement from Holmes allows him to see Suri up to 10 days a month. But the Mission Impossible Fallout star chooses not to exercise that option, and not because of his busy globetrotting movie star schedule. Shady. I'm guessing it's Tom's way or the highway, and instead of cooperating, sometimes people choose to make a point. And sometimes those points are not good ones. I'm just going to say this. Children don't understand what point you're trying to make. I've said this before. I've never been a parent, but I have been a kid. And I think that using children as a bargaining chip is blinded to the child. They just see a parent that doesn't want to see them. Those are just my 2 cents. That's it. In 2016, In Touch Weekly asserted the actor hadn't seen or spoken to his youngest child in 1,000 days. Part 14, Tomcat, is no more. From the Daily Mail. Whatever. But, alas. Okay, Suri was not expected to attend a Scientology school at all, like Cruz's adopted children with ex-wife Nicole Kidman, Isabella. You gotta keep an eye out for Isabella. And Connor. Under terms of the settlement, Suri isn't permitted to be exposed to anything Scientology related, and this includes going to any Scientology churches, parties, etc. Katie made sure that this was ironclad. Suri, according to the divorce settlements, Tom Cruise agreed to pay Katie $400,000 a month until Suri turned 18 years old. The documents also say that Tom agreed to pay all of Suri's expenses, including medical, dental, insurance, education, college, and extracurricular costs. Tom has always maintained that his responsibilities when it comes to financial obligations to Katie and Suri. However, the actor has not maintained a presence in Suri's life. Tom now, in 2023, has not seen Suri in over 10 years. Yet, he does have a close relationship with the 2 children he shares with Nicole. Nicole, on the other hand, who filed for divorce after 11 years of marriage, has not spoken to Tom in 20 years. In 2019, author Samantha Domingo told Us Weekly that Tom was not allowed to have a relationship with Suri because she is not a Scientologist. I want to see any father let someone tell them that they are not allowed to have a relationship with their daughter. Please. Okay. She told the outlet that the reason was due to the church's belief in reincarnation. They would not view Suri as Tom's daughter in the next life. Thank God. Allegedly. The acclaimed author added instead, they view Suri as a spiritual being in Tom's daughter's body. They are claiming that Suri is not a child, that she is a demon. Okay. Tom disagreed that his religion is not the cause for him to be estranged from Suri. In 2013, he sued a tabloid, In Touch, for $50 million when they said that he abandoned his daughter. And when the case played out in court, Tom said that he was not able to see Suri due to his filming schedule. He told the court that he did not see Suri for 100 days because he was starring in a movie called All You Need Is Kill in London. Did you see it? Okay. Unfortunately, in this situation, it was impossible, he told the court. He added that he was far from abandoning his daughter, oh my God, Marge, and called her every day. You have to work at it. And I've gotten very good at it. I tell wonderful stories. You know who else does? Winnie the Pooh. Okay. And not to freak anybody out, because it freaks me out, for people who remember the pregnancy announcement, Suri Cruz is 17 and she's applying to colleges. Katie Holmes is overwhelmed by the idea of her daughter going to college, but has an active role in helping her daughter with the college applications. I love it. Part 15, Tom Cruise, Katie Holmes. These are just my final thoughts, a rant, if you will. I'm going to say again, I've never been a parent. I've never been an A-list movie star to the degree that Tom Cruise has experienced in his life. I haven't experienced the relationship that he personally had with his father. I haven't experienced dyslexia. I haven't experienced moving 15 schools in 12 years. I haven't experienced that real, I can imagine, yearning for structure and stability. But I also cannot wrap my mind around someone telling me that I cannot see my kid and that is not my daughter anymore, just a spiritual being, and that we will not be together in the next life. I cannot imagine it. And like many of us, I too have an estranged parent. And there have been many, many times in my life where my mom is more than enough, but and I said it once, I've said it twice, probably said it a million times. I've never been a parent, but I have been a kid. And like what I was talking about before, where you don't understand as a kid. And I didn't even have the kind of exposure to radical validation that Tom Cruise chose Suri Cruz over. Does that make sense? I'm not in Scientology. I cannot imagine somebody telling me, we have read books, numerous autobiographies, stories of survival. We've seen documentaries of people going through war to find their kids. There are people on this earth that have lost their parents, like my mom and my grandparents. I truly believe that my grandparents would give anything in the world, anything between the heavens and the earth, to see my mom one more time. And I can't believe that there are parents walking around on the same earth, on the same plane as their kid, and won't be in their lives. I think that this is just my perspective. I think Tom Cruise is an egomaniac, and sometimes the idea of children may be more appealing than actually having a child with a partner with their own mind and their own opinions that differ yours. I don't understand how a parent can walk around knowing that their kid is developing interests and wants to be in fashion and in New York. And my mom is a lot like Katie Holmes. And what I mean by that is, it's only until you're an adult that you realize what it must have cost them to choose between this life of comfort that would hurt you or this life of hiding a little.